some things with ChatGPT specifically, and really understanding how to leverage it for better communication and data processing. A lot of times we have access to so much data as real estate professionals in this industry. It's very difficult to put into words how to explain it properly to the general public, right? It's kind of overkill so much. It's the curse of knowledge. We know a lot, they don't even know what they don't know. So leveraging a tool like ChatGPT gives you the ability to put it in simpler terms and also target the specific message you want to your specific audience. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in real quick. The first thing we're going to do is straight go to ChatGPT. If you haven't done that yet, you could just Google ChatGPT, create an account, and it's free to create an account. I think it's worth it to pay for the $20 a month extra fee. That way you get access to the latest and greatest of information. ChatGPT 4.0, the most newest advanced model that they have. And again, you could use it for all sorts of things. So practically in the real estate industry, let's start with some basic data processing. Okay, that's one of the first things we're going to see. So real quick, those I only see a couple of you on camera. Thumbs up if you can see my screen. Okay. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Great, great, great. Okay, you can see the screen. Perfect. All right, we're good. So I'm in Arizona and use FlexMLS. Whether you use FlexMLS, you use CoreLogic, any of these systems, all of them have the access to the market reports. So let's go. I'm going to go to Flex real quick. And let's pull up a very general market report. Log in. All right. So if any of you are on a FlexMLS system, you get access to your market trends, your reports, your summaries, all in your menu systems here. So if I go to my menu, zoom in a little bit, scroll down to statistics, I get all of these different things: trends, reports, graphs, summary. Let's start with a basic summary. So I'm going to click on the summary. It's going to bring me to this view here. Okay. And I want to customize this report. So if I hit new location, let's just say Gilbert, Arizona. I have somebody who's interested in buying in Gilbert, Arizona. Okay. Residential, I'm going to hit search. We have all of this data to be able to dump onto them. Now, how hard is it? And I would say for me, very hard to look at this. One, understand what it's even saying. Okay. Two, understand it in a way to be able to explain it to someone. And it becomes even more difficult. So instead of kind of going through, racking your head around this, this is where we leverage something like ChatGPT to make it a lot more simpler in those terms. So I'm going to export this entire document here. Okay. And then real quick, Jocelyn, let me see if you are also, is there a way to get somebody to be a co-host? Because I'm getting the request to add people to the class. So if one of you could still be just co-host still, that way anybody who joins could be admitted automatically. Okay. All right. So let's go back here. I get copy and paste. I get print as a PDF. Either way, very simple. So let me just do it as a PDF. I'm going to save it as a PDF here. Oops. Okay. Great. Now, if I go back to my ChatGPT, let's start something very, very basic. I'm going to tell it, I'm going to upload the documents. I want you to summarize. I'm not going to say any specifics yet. I'm not going to tell it any industry specifics. I'm not going to tell it that I'm an agent, that it's trying to operate as an agent. I just want to tell it, I'm going to upload a document. You tell me what it says. Okay. So it's going to say, sure, go ahead and upload the document. So I'm going to hit my attachments, go to my computer. There you go. Upload. All right. Now it's giving me a snapshot of all the key statistics that we took directly from this thing. But even then, in its summary, it's still kind of hard to chew, if you will. It's not that user friendly. I still need to do a little bit of work, labor on it to understand it, understand what it's saying. If I sent this to a client, eyes are going to glaze over, right? Okay, what does this mean? So I got the general details out. Instead, I'm going to say, please summarize the data in simpler terms. Let's see what it does there. Again, data in, data out. So now it's giving me a little bit more of simplicity. Price up, 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 up. This is down, this is up, this is down, this is up. Again, you're kind of whittling away. Think of it if you're a woodworker or you're ice sculpting, right? You're just kind of chiseling away. You have this big chunk of data, and I want to chisel it down to be something that is tangible for a consumer. Okay, so I have this again default baseline explanation here. Now I want to get into a little bit more specifics. I'm going to say, please summarize the data in an email format to a prospective buyer in the Gilbert, Arizona market. There we go. Now it's giving me the raw data. It's giving me an email format to summarize. Still, I want to chisel down even further. Better tone, better explanation. I like that's giving me what this means for you. Home prices are steadily increasing. Homes are selling more quickly. Variety, right? Rewrite with upbeat and positive tone. There's people in the waiting room here. Add a call to action at the end of the email. Okay, great. Now notice the tone difference. It's more positive. We got exclamation marks. Telling to act quickly. Don't miss out the opportunity. Reach out. Now doing a call to action. So we could rework this in so many different ways. If I want to do the exact same data and say now word it with a frame of reference for a prospective home seller. Why is this data important to a home seller? If I wanted to use this exact same data set, this is what all agents should be doing on a regular basis. Monthly, these reports go out, whether you're using CoreLogic or FlexMLS, or you're getting your reports from your title partners. You're going to get the monthly stats. You have great content to send out to any of your database. You also have content for any of your social media. Okay. Right. As an Instagram post using hashtags and emojis. Great. Sign user home buyers. So what started as just this one general graphic summary with all these different numbers, you could throw it through this kind of system and really start to squeeze the juice out of what the data has for you. So that's a very simplified version of what ChatGPT could do. I can upload the raw data. I can have it summarize the data for me. I could then have it summarize the data for a prospective either home buyer or home seller. I could put it in an email format. I could have it rewrite it as an Instagram post or social media post. I could limit the number of characters. I could have it reference certain details. I could put it in a video script form. Let's say I wanted to have a video script. I could say write as a 60-second video script if I want to add a video for this as well. And then it would rewrite that in the exact same thing. Okay, so that's very simple right now. Download a report, upload. And somebody asking you should upload right here inside of the chat bar where you message ChatGPT. There's an attachment. You can attach whatever it is. Once you get ChatGPT, the first thing you're going to do on your browser, you're also going to download it onto your mobile device. Get the ChatGPT app. I use ChatGPT all of the time on my phone. You're an agent, you're a buyer's agent. Your client says, "Hey, how old is that water heater? What is this? What's going on with this water heater? What's going on with this HVAC system?" Take ChatGPT, take a picture of it. Love it. Here, let me. I don't have my phone connected to my computer, but let's do this. I'm going to look up for water heater. Let's look up a water heater label. Okay. I'm going to go to images, and here we go. Here's a general image. So I'm going to save this image in my downloads. Let's say I was out in the field, so to speak. I was out there, and I'm walking a house with a client. Want to get the details. I'm going to upload, take a picture with my phone. I'm doing it on the browser right now. Okay. Summarize this. Great. The image below shows serial number, date code, specifications, capacity, rating, all these things. Limited warranty, its warranty code. What year was it? What year was it manufactured? There you go. Again, these are common questions I'm sure you get, but at least I know I get out in the field. If you want to take a picture of the HVAC tag, the water heater tag, you want to get information on the appliances, open up the stove, take a picture of that plate, all of this data. And it's such a great way for you to follow up with your clients post showings. If you go to, let's say you showed 5 houses that day and you want to do a follow up summary and say, hey, here are all the details of the properties we saw. Here's the specifications on the appliances we saw. Here's the warranty that they come with. Here's the code that they have, right? All of these things are extreme value adds for you using it kind of out in the field. Not to say anything about its translation. I love a translation tool as well. If you're working with clients, pretty soon in the fall they're gonna launch active translation. So you're able to tell ChatGPT with speaking. You can say, "Hey, ChatGPT, every time you hear Spanish, translate to English. Every time you hear English, translate to Spanish." And now you're able to have a live conversation with someone right there with the phone. They speak in Spanish. It tells you in English. You see in English. It speaks to them in Spanish. Any of the languages, right? So a very, very powerful tool you want to start getting used to. All right, so that's utilizing it in its like photo capability. If you have any, needs to look at data plates or model numbers or pull data off of these things, that's a great way to do it. Another great thing to do is when you need to challenge an appraiser. That sometimes happens. So I love using RPR for all my CMAs. So let's go to RPR. And I'm sure all of you, well, if you don't know RPR, Realtor's Property Resource, you're a Realtor member, it's a member benefits. Fantastic tool and resource for all of us Realtor members. I know Flex has their own CMA. You have cloud CMAs. There are plenty of CMAs, but I really like using RPR. So if I was going to build a CMA, let's say, okay, on a specific property, let me see any CMAs I already have. Okay, for example, this CMA. This is for a property in Virginia. Okay. List price 495, comp 511. The appraisal came in at 480, and we wanted to challenge that a little bit. So instead of just sending the appraiser, because if you send this appraiser this entire reports, they're gonna just say, okay, I don't really know what we're doing here. Instead, I want to put it in a format that highlights and justifies the sales price with the data that I'm providing. So the exact same thing. I'm going to take this report, throw it into ChatGPT, and then tell it what I'm trying to accomplish. So let's go ahead and download here. And then same thing. I want to have that specific report. And then I just want a general market report for that entire area. 23192. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go in. Let's start a new chat. You are a real estate agent listing a property that has a list price of the appraised value came back at, let's say it's 480,000. I'll upload 2 reports I want you to use to justify the sales price. Pull the comparables from the report and show similarities. And price per square foot. Price per square foot. And then let's see here. Do you understand? Ask any follow-up questions. This is one of the most underutilized aspects of ChatGPT, is telling it to ask you questions. If you just tell it what to do, again, it's more or less a robot, it will do it. If you tell it, here's what I'm trying to accomplish, is there anything you need to know to help you accomplish these tasks? It will ask you follow-up questions that may be useful, sometimes not, but we'll just go ahead and give it that prompt. Make sure it understands. So say, great, understood. Please go ahead and upload your reports, and I'll use them just by sales price. If there are any specific details or aspects you want me to focus on, please let me know. Okay. So let's go and upload from the computer the reports. Upload. Reading the documents. It's going to process here. Great. So now it's going to pull those. I mean, that one report's over 60 pages. The market report, I think, is 20 pages. It's going to find the comps that are most justified in similarity with the square footage, give the similarity of, say, Y, okay, and the comparison, and then the justification for it. Now, again, don't just copy and paste this, right? You want to verify it, double check it, cross-reference it. If you wanted, you could annotate and say, please reference what page number in the reports. Please annotate where you pulled this comp from, because you're going to give the report to the appraiser. But I just had this exact same scenario happen, and they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense, right? So again, very powerful to use instead of just looking through and reading this entire report ad nauseum and trying to figure out, okay, where am I going to pull these similarities from, right? Let most of the heavy lifting be done here, where it's going to find those similar comps for you. Because I gave it not only a CMA that I took time to build myself, but I also gave it the entire general market area. Okay. That's where the market trends are going. The median list price for similar properties with this, reacted this size. Here's conclusion of all of that. All right. So that's another way that's very easy to use ChatGPT in both discussing market information for clients, prospective buyers, sellers, and having that conversation ongoing with an appraiser if you need to. This is something that I would do ahead of time. Instead of waiting for the appraiser to come in low, if you want to meet the appraisal out there, most appraisers are usually, at least I don't know what markets all of you are in, but the markets that I'm in, typically appraisers are open to having a listing agent be there present, or at least dropping off their comps and giving them some details. This is a perfect way to do that. Hey, here's a quick summary. Here's my full report, my full comp analysis. Here's a summary of the comp analysis if you'd like. Leave a copy of that for them there. And it puts in very simple terms for them. Because a lot of times, and you guys, you and I both know this, if You send an appraiser out to appraise a property with no sales price, and you send 10 different appraisers, you're going to get how many different numbers? 10 completely different numbers. The second you put a sales price to that property, all of a sudden everything kind of zeroes in more or less on that sales price because the sales price becomes kind of its own comp sometimes. So the appraiser is not looking necessarily to fight you per se. It just has to be justifiable. Does the data justify what a buyer's willing to buy and what a seller's willing to sell, especially when there's buyers getting a loan? Does the mortgage company know this is a justifiable sales price? So any way that you're able to help them justify that price is going to make their legwork a lot easier and a lot more simpler in that thing. Okay. Any questions on how to upload reports? Okay, great. All right. So now going back to RPR here. Another resource to use ChatGPT, just like I pull the data from Flex, I highly encourage you. You could also go to RPR, get your market trend reports or your summaries for any of the tours that you're going to do with your buyer. And you could have it be a one slide or snapshot slide worth of content for them. Okay. So again, let's say that you're going to tour this property here. You have 5 houses you're going to tour. And I'm going to hit create report. And I'm just going to do property report. Just a quick property report, not run anything on there. Let it do its thing. So if I had 3 or 4 listings that I was going to tour for a prospective buyer, you go into RPR and Realtors Property Resource, search the property with the MLS ID number or the property address, click property report. It takes about a minute or so to run. Once the report is done, there you go, you get a little notification, and here we go. The exact same thing. Download this report, and you're going to throw it into ChatGPT. So I'm going to start a new section here and say, you are let's start with one report first. All right. Same thing, paperclip. Our property report, upload. If I do this with 5 separate properties and I want to put it in a text format, tell it rewrite as a text message. If I want to do it as a PowerPoint, kind of rewrite it in points that I could copy and paste into a PowerPoint, right? There are other AI systems out there that are becoming more powerful. Like if you're going to wanted to build kind of a full-blown presentation, that's when you utilize something like a Canva, for example. And Canva has their their magic design is what their AI is kind of called. And you could build a magic design presentation and utilize that. But still, most of the prompts on ChatGPT far exceed Canva's. Gemini is another good tool. Somebody mentioned Gemini a little bit earlier. That's Google's. It was Bard, now Gemini. Um, I like ChatGPT because it's easy to use on multiple platforms. I am an iOS user primarily, but then also we use Chrome. So if I'm turning on Chrome extension, Gemini is great to use if you have your Gmail. The one thing that doesn't really work well with Gemini is any professional tools quite yet. So I can't use Gemini, which is Google's AI version, on any business type accounts. So, perfect example, when I go to my email, if I go to my personal email, I have Gemini ready to go right here. Gemini is right there, ready for me. If I go to quote unquote my work email, which is through Google as a professional domain, you don't get Gemini yet. Okay. You don't get Gemini yet. So that's where you're still a little bit limited in what Gemini can do in terms of incorporation, but it's going to come. I mean, it's going to be kind of a space race, if you will, between both of these platforms, especially now that Apple just announced a couple of weeks ago that they partner with ChatGPT. That's only going to give Google more motivation to really get Gemini kind of out there. So between both platforms, you're going to end up probably having like a Samsung, Apple type battle, or an Android versus iOS type battle in those fronts. It's going to be more personal preference. But as far as the capability, they're both really great products. The one thing I'll say is using it on It's to Go on the mobile app is probably one of the most powerful ways to use it because you are able to pick up exactly where you left off. One thing here is with all of these different tabs on the left-hand side, okay, these are your ongoing threads. It can only reference the thread that you're currently in. So there are threads that you could leave for weeks upon weeks and keep coming back to it, especially if you've built your prompts. If you want to build a thread that's just for creating a CMA, and you're going to say, I'm going to give you X amount of properties, then I want you to summarize the value of these properties every time I upload them, however many times you're going to do that. You could keep that and refer to it over and over and over again and pin it as one of your favorite things. Okay. ChatGPT also has so many third-party different tools. I mean, I'm sure you've seen online all the crazy images you're able to do, your image generator. If you want to upload some content for it to work on your own voice, your own tone, it's pretty cool to be able to do. Yeah, the paid version. So again, $20 a month. Absolutely. I haven't had the free version in a long time. I know there's still some of the third-party things you still get with the free version. With the free version, you do get at least the baseline ChatGPT, which is just powerful enough to begin with. With the $20 a month, you do get access to all these other things. But like the image generator, those things are more or less fun to do. Scholar GPT is great when you're trying to get access to a bunch of different tools and resources. If you have any kids in school or going through school, I mean, it basically pulls an online database of an entire library. Canva, I told you Canva integrations are included with it. If any of you do kind of SQL or programming, you have the ability to use that. And you can kind of explore all the different aspects of what kind of ChatGPT has to provide in its wheelhouse, so to speak. Any of you, now we're going to get a little bit into some of the extreme weeds here. But if you do your own website, okay, you don't have to be a programmer to learn how to use this. If you have your own website and you want to build a specific functionality for your website, this is great to go in and tell ChatGPT to do that. You want to build a landing page that when anybody clicks on this listing, it directly connects to, let's say, your KV Core, or let's say your follow-up boss, or whatever CRM that you're using. You could give it that prompt as long as you have the integrations with the websites, and it'll build that code for you. Okay, that's a little bit more on the advanced side, but those are some of the different tools you're able to use with the product ChatGPT of incorporating between just email summaries and also capturing leads via your online presence and your websites. So if you are you paying for a webmaster or somebody who creates that for you, let them know that you want to build some customization, and it's great to be able to create some of that code for you. All right, let's do one more upload. Practical. You are representing. Oops. Just had a home inspection. I'd like you to and reference the inspector's recommendations to repair. Great. All right. So I'm going to go in, same exact thing. Let's go into, let's see, do I have an inspection report quickly pulled up here? There's a repair addendum. There you go. All right. Upload the whole report. Great. So now upload the entire report. Found the most expensive things. Now, again, ChatGPT isn't up on the marketplace, right? You're going to give or take. You can talk to your local market and see exactly what things like this are going for with your contractors. But it's nice to get a general range or an idea, especially in having that conversation with your clients of saying, okay, right, here's the things that we want to address. Here's the things that are probably of high concern. And it gave you that kind of summary. Okay. So now okay. So I put in an email format that requested repairs be done by a licensed by a contractor. There you go. So throughout every stage, because you and I both know that with primary inspections, they often lead to secondary or tertiary inspections. So the primary inspection may say, hey, here's this thing going with the roof. And now you're going to get a roofing inspection or a pool inspection or an HVAC inspection. All these reports could be thrown in to say, okay, what are the critical things that we want to isolate or that we want to target to start talking about to the other side, right? Same thing with any of your email threads, right? If you want to summarize for your records, export all the emails as a PDF of that conversation. You could say, okay, highlight some of the things that we want to reflect back on and go back on throughout this conversation. You're able to do that all by uploading these things. So really, the conversation base of ChatGPT is nice, but a lot of the power is in your ability to upload the documentation and start pulling a lot of that data out of there, if that makes sense. Any specific questions regarding utilizing this system?
Were you planning on showing us a little bit about how it can kind of zhuzh up your marketing remarks on selling a property?
Yeah, absolutely. So the one thing that's bad, I would say a downside of ChatGPT is that it guesses. Okay. So for example, if I put in a property, let's say Okay, I'm going to say just write a general listing description. And I'll tell you right now, this is wrong. This is wrong. It's not fenced at all. There is no patio. All that's wrong. Okay. So when it comes for creating text for your listing descriptions, again, it's all data in, data out. So instead, you want to tell it, write a listing description, and you're going to highlight the different things that you want to highlight in, right? Write a listing description and just start a new prompt. Start from scratch.
A lot of times it's just like copying one and popping it in there
Yeah.
shows the difference too.
Emphasize 3 beds, 2 bath. I'm going to just say updated kitchen. And this is where you're going to pull your information from any of your client's data, right? So new roof, 2022, new HVAC, 2019, oops, new water heater, say 2021, 2,100 square feet. Okay, very, very generic. But even with giving it baseline things, it'll start to create a sense of, okay, boasts a series of recent updates, making it move and ready for its owners. Here's what the highlights include: this, and this. Now I can tell it to rewrite and start throwing some more things in there. So listing descriptions, that's where more or less you kind of bring in your data points of what you want to talk about, the basic amenities of the property, the basic features of the property, and then say, okay, now summarize this for me and different things that you want to highlight. And that's what I primarily would use for listing descriptions there. And the exact same thing, if you've already typed one and you're just going to copy and paste it and say, rewrite this and make it better, put in an upbeat tone, right? Rewrite. Now it's saying step in and you're ready for your culinary adventures. The one thing I will say that is you got to be careful with this kind of, it's kind of, being a little bit hyperbolic, be careful of that, is that everything's going to start sounding the same. Everything's going to sound like step into this wonderful blah, blah, blah. And you just sound like a computer now. So I like using it for like data summary and using your own kind of personality in it, as opposed to every single listing you see in the MLS, it says, step into your dream kitchen, right? That just kind of glosses over. Everything sounds the same, right? Highlight the facts, stick with the truth. Don't give it too much extra fluff just for the sake of fluff. In my opinion, the listing descriptions, but again, that's kind of each to their own in that regard. But you could absolutely throw in and rewrite things. Same thing with email summaries. If you have to respond to an email, that's or send an email that's not really going to be a good tone, you can use it as a launch board, if you will, right? Um, please assist that we should do. Okay, again, just as a launch board, start to get the conversation going. You need to write an email to say, hey, I think we got to drop this price. Okay. What do we have? Okay. Let's see. Great. Now let's rewrite. Upbeat tone. See what it says. I have an exciting idea to share. Okay. Add why this is a good thing. Let's see what it says. Exciting opportunity to attract more buyers. Your price structure can create a sense of urgency, right? So again, you could go on and on and on with trying to add a little bit here, a little bit there, take away this, add this, and kind of dial into that last little bit of what you're trying to pull out of it. Okay. Do we have any questions? I would say one of the best ways to learn how to use it is ask it how to use it. Okay. So I go in, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona market. What is the best way to use you? Answer queries. Great. I can stop it there. In what way? With my SEO, search engine optimization. Perfect. Now, those of you who have like KV Core or Follow Up Boss, and you're going to build a specific landing page for your listing. Let's say you have a luxury listing and you want to have a landing page dedicated to this listing. You're going to spend some ad money on this listing. You can now give this a ChatGPT and say, I want you to optimize this listing with long tail keywords, meta tags, and internal linking inside of my brokerage's KV Core to optimize its view. Send that and go, right? So a lot of ways to learn how to use ChatGPT is kind of asking what to do and start putting to practice what's recommending that you do throughout the process. And same thing with social media. Once you create your accounts inside of your settings, you click customize ChatGPT and give it its baseline summary of what you're trying to accomplish, right? So when you customize it, you can say who you are, what market you work in, and what you're trying to accomplish with ChatGPT. You're a real estate agent trying to get more leads. You're trying to get more listings. You're trying to have better conversations with buyers. So every time you start a conversation with it, it already knows that baseline information of you. And the more links you can provide to your social medias, you can provide to your website, the more information it has, the more it's going to customize the responses directly to you. And when you build on those existing threads, it's also going to pick up on your unique tone in how you word certain things and phrases. So when it gives you that information back, it gives it in a way that also still sounds like you. So that's why when you sign up for ChatGPT, I highly recommend that you customize it with your goals and your objectives. And you can also ask it for its latest data. I think its last poll was a couple of weeks ago. So you could, when ChatGPT first came out, it was limited to a few years ago, but its most recent updates, you say, when is your data updated? However, you access real time. This is where I encourage you for Chrome users use Gemini or upload your own contacts, your own content for it to be accurate in the current time that you're in. Awesome. Any other questions?
Are you able to kind of show us how we can sign up? Because it's, you can start using it without signing up, right? So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
So if you just go to chatgpt.com and it's going to bring you to this page. Stay logged out. I can start using it as logged out right now with 3.5. I don't have to log in. Now, anything that I do here, right, is going to be lost the second that I leave this browser, but I could start using it now. And then when I sign up, you can still sign up for free, just your email address and your name. That's all you need. And then you'll keep a record of all the chats that you have over the left-hand side. So if you just go to chatgpt.com, you can start using it kind of right now. Absolutely. Awesome. All right, guys. If there's nothing else, appreciate your time. Again, get out and start messing with it. I spend hours just randomly doing anything. Really, though, a lot of the powers in the mobile side, especially taking pictures. I was had an experience the other day where the person wanted to know what kind of power was associated to this property. Pulled out the phone, took a picture of the circuit breaker, and it gave me the exact specs. It was single phase, two pole, this many amperage. Here's what it's rated at. Fantastic. Great.
Hey Jimmy, this is Johnny. I had a question.
Yes.
Um, so once you have everything kind of calculated out with ChatGPT's narrowed down, are you just copying and pasting it and putting it into whatever your CRM or whatnot, or is there a way, like a faster way to kind of auto integrate it into like a CRM or something like that? Is there a hack, in other words, to do that, or is it just copy paste?
Yeah, right. So right now there's copy and paste. There are, I know KV Core and Follow Up Boss are trying to build partner up with ChatGPT to have integration, at least those two CRMs. And then you have a lot of their CRMs are coming out with their own AIs as well. But as far as if you want it to get from ChatGPT to your specific CRM, right now the best way is still unfortunately copy and paste if you're not using the built-in CRM's AI.
Got it. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Then somebody else had a question inside of the chat of uploading a photo. Exactly. Well, when you download the app on your phone, there's an option to click and take a picture instead of uploading. You can take a picture right then and there inside of the chat GPT.
Got it. Cool. I had to leave the chat for a little bit. I asked the question about Copilot and Gemini. Works the same way as Chat GPT, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And again, I think once the dust settles, if my projection a year, 2 years from now, it's going to be Apple utilizing ChatGPT with their announcement, and then Google and Gemini. Those would be the two big, you know, players. Just kind of like iOS and Android right now, and then you have Linux kind of in the backline. Copilot will still be back there on lower end, but it'll be Gemini and ChatGPT.
Got it. Okay.
If you're a
Thank
big Chrome user, I'd highly recommend you just the Gemini because Gemini integrates the Chrome so well in all the different browsers. Like if I want to pull contact information from somebody on LinkedIn, Gemini could do that real quick. Give me a snapshot of who they are. So yeah, it's a pretty cool tool as well. Of
Cool. Thank you.
course. All right, folks. Well, that's all we have. Again, thank you again for having me, and we'll see you guys all next time. Take care.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody for your patience today. We apologize for the wrong link going out. There was another class going on at the same time on the same link. So thank you for all of you guys that hung in there to show up still for the new link in the class. Thank you so much, Jimmy. This was really good.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And apologize again, hunched over, but herniated disc, not fun.
Yeah, hope you feel better.
Take care, guys.
All right. Thank you, everybody.